I know that motorbike, it's Zola's.
And the stopping distance?
It's already documented. Everything will be in the file.
Yes, that belongs to Tony Zola. That man from the bar who robbed the gallery, I'm 100% sure.
I've checked the motorcycle driver. He's had a massive head injury, multiple bone fractures, scratches. There's no way he could survive that.
Good. Tell the coroner I want an autopsy report as soon as possible. Who called that in?
Some old couple was driving along and they saw smoke.
Max's diary? The last entry is unfinished. Somebody probably disturbed him. I'll take it. I don't care if someone regards it as evidence. Those notes, drawings. Max did similar things before. I wonder if those terrible nightmares returned to him. Why, damn it, didn't he tell me anything?
And the stopping distance?
It's already documented. Everything will be in the file. I've checked the motorcycle driver. He's had a massive head injury, multiple bone fractures, scratches. There's no way he could survive that.
Good. Tell the coroner I want an autopsy report as soon as possible. Who called that in?
Some old couple was driving along and they saw smoke, but they didn't see the actual accident.
And the stopping distance?
It's already documented. Everything will be in the file. I've checked the motorcycle driver. He's had a massive head injury, multiple bone fractures, scratches. There's no way he could survive that.
Good. Tell the coroner I want an autopsy report as soon as possible.
You don't have to be an expert to see someone was shooting at Max.
Who called that in?
Some old couple.
Max, hopefully he missed you. Is the seat shot through? The seat is shot through, but I don't see any blood. Hopefully Max wasn't hit. Really, no traces of blood. Max wasn't hurt. Otherwise, there would be some. At least, I hope so.
I've checked the
Tire is shot through. If Max was going fast, that wouldn't have made his driving any easier.
Good. Tell the...
To hit a tire while driving is not an easy task. I'd say that was an accidental shot. Captain Namusa looks quite nervous. What have you found out?
Not much. We have to wait for the experts.
No. If you're not able to find out yourselves, I'll tell you. That wasn't any common accident. Someone was shooting at Max. They shot through a tire, but Max is a great driver. He could handle that. And they kept shooting at him. The seat. Did you notice at all that there was no blood? No blood! Max wasn't hurt! I know that bike. Is it possible you wouldn't recognize its driver? It's someone you know very well, Captain. Someone you've covered for? It's Tony Zola. What, not ringing a bell?
But No, that's not how it is. I never told him to.
I know very well what you told him. I understand now. You didn't cover for him. You actually hired him. You hired him for that theft because Zenzele Leclerc wanted it.
But he was only supposed to steal certain things. Stuff that belonged to her. She's from the Leclerc family. I haven't ever taken a bribe, never acted dishonestly. But there are things stronger than human law. When the blood of your ancestors call, you can't turn a blind eye to it. I'm ready to deal with the consequences. I'll hand in my resignation today. But you must know, I didn't have any idea that it was going to take 2 lives.
2 lives? That scum is no loss, but concerning Max, I understand that it would be quite useful for you if he disappeared. Maybe you'd like to get rid of me too, but that's a pity. He's alive.
Madame Durand, you're wrong. I don't hold anything against you. If I could take it all back, I would. It's terrible, dreadful. But you have to admit to yourself, your husband.
Max is alive. I can feel it. I know it. He promised to never leave me. Nothing can separate us, and you know what? Don't try to understand. You can't. No one can.
Do you see that car, Lara? Broken. Just like your life. Broken beyond repair. You looked for him. Yelled, cried, prayed. You waited. You still do. Even back in you. Through hazy days and dreamless nights. Before the sun shines again, a lot of dark things will cross the sky. A lot of very, very dark things, Lara.
I knew you'd be here.
So get started. What are you going to tell me? That I'm strong and will endure? That time heals?
I'll tell you anything it takes to make you feel better.
Wait now. Where's that amusing Diego I know? What about some funny story? Yesterday I put all his belongings in a box and took it to the cellar. And about 3 o'clock I woke up, fetched the box, and spent the rest of the night returning his things to where they were before. Nobody knows what it's like, Diego. Nobody has even the slightest idea.
Lara, go back to work. See your friends. We'll get coffee together. Imagine that they make something that's actually drinkable.
That chapter's closed. What did that damn work give me? What have I accomplished? Found a couple paintings? No, Diego. It's time to move on. To burn all my bridges. That's the only way for me to live through it.
I was afraid you'd say that. But your work is more important than you think. Here, read this. I wanted to give it to you when you came to the office, but it seems now I won't have the opportunity.
This? You think this will change anything?
If this doesn't, then nothing will.
The new coffee. Is it really drinkable?
You've never tasted better. I'll lend you my umbrella, okay?
No thanks, I don't need it. The content of that file will surely make Renier happy. Why don't I have a normal gun? I don't need it so much really, but it's good to know that if I did, it wouldn't jam. Quality works. I'd better keep the safety engaged for now. The wallet is made of quality leather. I've had it for years. I got it from Ostankovich back in Russia when I worked in Section 12. My wallet and my badge. I don't have cash on me. I've become too used to using credit cards. I have almost no cash. I usually pay with my card. The correct procedure to prove identification for a SWOA agent is to show this badge and a card containing their photo. Our department's badge. It didn't change even after we practically separated from Interpol. IDs, credit cards, and a badge. I sort of pity her. She's here day and night, rain or shine, always alone, always watching all those happy couples meeting here. We two have something in common. An old man used to sit on that bench feeding pigeons. I chatted with him many times without even knowing his name. Once these bins just disappeared from day to day. They said that was because of terrorists. Good that someone sane took this over. It's the Lyon Museum of Arts. They have a beautiful collection of 17th to 20th century paintings.
Hi, we heard about the accident. You have my condolences.
Why, has anyone died?
Well, I thought, as they haven't found the body...
Is Kotu here?
Yeah, sure. He's at his desk. Hey, I'm sorry.
Laura, I'm so very sorry.
Hey, if there's something we can do, anything at all.
I did all that could be done. So thanks, but you better get back to work. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
We're glad you're back.
I'd never thought that I'd lead my own department and even have my own secretary. Kotu works really hard and is a favorite of Renier. Today's weather is not lifting my mood. What's up?
In a few minutes, a briefing's going to start about a very interesting case. Jimenez and Renier are preparing it now.
I need to talk with her.
Wrong moment. She's not interested in anything but that case now. We're even cooperating on it with our dear American friends, so a lot hinges on it.
FBI?
They are having some troubles in San Francisco and asked us to help. We will do the hard work, and they will have to deal with all the congrats for having solved the case. One just has to love them.
You know, I'm really not interested just now.
You should be. It's really interesting reading. I've put it all on your desk.
About that case, have you read over that file yet?
You bet. Proper preparation is essential, isn't it?
Any additional research? Something which isn't in the file?
No, but I think Renier's got some additional photos she wants to show us.
Please, where's the case file?
I've put it on the desk in your office, but I told you that already, didn't I?
I'd better go through the case file one more time.
Uh-huh, that would be good.
Lara?
Yes, Suzanne?
I know I shouldn't pry, but when I see how tired and sad you are... Well, I just mean, if you want, I have plenty of meditation music.
What?
Music, herbs, and a hot tub. The body and the mind just need to purge from time to time to get rid of negative energy.
Herbs? Well, maybe later.
Don't underestimate nature, Lara. It will help you more than some pills.
Anything new? Any message?
No, nothing. But Renier has arrived at headquarters along with that Spanish charmer. Something big is gonna happen.
The printer's been jammed a lot lately. I should have it repaired when I find some time. The printer's been jammed a lot lately. I should have it repaired when I find some time. No idea why I would do that. Wonderful fax machine that cost us €1,000. Only Suzanne knows how to use it. No idea why I would do that. I chose this painting myself. I think it wasn't a bad choice at all. It helped make this tolerable. The phone is connected through the exchange that is handled by Muriel most of the time. All business calls should go through her. A place for notes and analyses. I'm probably the only one in the whole department who doesn't have it full of old, indecipherable notes. I don't use the shredder very often. Unfortunately, even now in the age of electronic documents, we still have to store nearly every paper document that passes through here. I use it mostly for sending emails. The access to Interpol databases is a bit complicated for my whole department because of Renier. I took this photo when Max finished his first painting after returning from the hospital. He seemed so happy. Some wise guy put a business card there, and now it's goodness knows where. San Francisco? That drawing in Max's diary. The name of this city. No, I really don't want to recall that. Now I have to concentrate on work. Well, it looks really interesting. Maybe I could help out one last time. No, I'll quit. I have to take care of myself now. What number should I call? I don't need to use that computer right now. Jean, do you have a moment? There was some business card in the file, but it got lost. Was it something important?
The contact of some woman from Argo's HR department. If we wanted to find out something about those missing people from this case.
How did it go when I was away?
It went well. In fact, almost surprisingly well. Listen, you've had a hard time. If you want to have some more rest, we all here would understand. In fact, I could take over your work for a while.
You would take it over from me. You'd like to be the boss here?
Well, to want is probably too strong, but simply if circumstances required it, I could do it. We're all on the same side, aren't we? We have to help each other.
I see. Good. I'll remember that. Suzanne?
Yes, Lara?
Good. Get on with your work, please.
Sure. And Lara? I believe you'll make it through. You have good karma. You'll surely meet Max again.
You know I don't believe in those things. Let's not speak about it again, please.
Yes, sure. Sorry.
Wait, have you really read it over well? Do you remember its contents?
You're right. I should read it over once more.
Wait, have you really read it over well? Do you remember its contents?
Why do you think I'm the boss here? Because I'm lazy and inconsistent?
No, certainly not.
So let's go, right?
Lara, how was the trip? Don't you want to rest?
No, I'm fine, relatively. But I'd like to discuss something with you, alone.
Later, all right? Did you have any time to read that file?
Of course. Just out of curiosity, you're here... Why?
Well, no good deed goes unpunished. Your friend Jimenez insisted that we help you.
Two heads are better than, and so on.
It's always good to see you, Diego. But you... When I was leaving, you were managing our budget at Interpol, not our cases.
Lara, I didn't usurp you as boss of the department. You were just gone, so I stepped in and took over. Is it necessarily such a bad thing for us to help each other?
No, of course not. All help is welcome.
Excellent. Pictures that came in after the report, I've prepared in the projector. This is the church on Mission Street, where those structural engineers from Argo went missing and blood was found. And most importantly, that painting.
Someone painted a few smears in blood?
You could say that. We're talking about this.
Jesus Christ.
Is that blood? Is this thing really painted in human blood?
Sure. You did read the report, didn't you?
Of course I did. It's just taken me by surprise. I know there was an enclosed analysis of 3 blood samples.
Where do we start?
The painting? Or are we leaving that for...
Last. First we'll look at what went on there. That way we can better understand how and why it was made.
As you said, you're the boss here.
All right. First let's develop our own hypothesis about what really happened in there. Now I'll tag the evidence in those pictures that could be useful to us. This is used to control the projector. This button skips to the next image. I can print the current image immediately. This button skips to the previous image. Something in that painting is familiar to me, but where did I see it?
Well, I suppose that you've seen hundreds of paintings in your work.
No, not like that. This is different. If I want to print, I'll do it at the end of the presentation.
You wanted to show us something about what happened there, didn't you? Why do you think the crime was committed, and how?
What do you think about that?
To tell the truth, I don't know. Murders, blood. I might as well go work for the Criminal Investigation Police. But if we are at it already, We should look into it properly.
Those really are interesting things. At last, I feel something's going on here.
What do you think about that?
To tell the truth, I don't know. Murders, blood. I might as well go work for the Criminal Investigation Police. But if we are at it already, we should look into it properly.
If I want to print, I'll do it at the end of the presentation.
Those really are interesting things. At last, I feel something's going on here. Those really are interesting things. At last, I feel something's going on here.
You wanted to show us something about what happened there, didn't you? Why do you think the crime was committed, and how?
So what will help us to find out what did happen in here? I can turn on the laser pointer by turning the end of the remote. There's an open Bible lying on the ground. Can it be important? Not now. I'd have expected the culprit to use a thinner paintbrush, but that's not relevant now. Painting is fascinating, but we're looking for something else now. That painting is fascinating, but we're looking for something else now. And what about that helmet?
The victim could have worn it on his head, and when falling to the floor, the helmet fell and spinned off.
I can't imagine that. I think that it probably stayed on his head lying on the floor.
Of course, that's more likely.
Or the victim wasn't wearing it at all, and it fell off the table. I think we can't come to any conclusion about that. An overthrown chair. Interesting, but not what I'm looking for. Those wings might be really important, but not just now. Those prints are really interesting, but I'm looking for something else. I don't think that the cross can tell us anything important right now. There's a lot of blood here. The perpetrator left the victim to lie here for a long period of time.
Yeah, seems like it.
I'd have expected the culprit to use a thinner paintbrush, but that's not relevant now. That painting is fascinating, but we're looking for something else now. The blood, the overthrown chair. We probably agree that there's some story behind it.
I looked at it too, but what do you want to find there?
It seems that one of the victims was sitting at the table and then either overthrew the culprit or hit him on the back with the chair, knocking them down.
Exactly, and that blood smear is perhaps from dragging the person off the chair. There is no blood around. The chair stayed as it fell. I suppose that the victim was not defending himself after the fall, possibly even dead beforehand.
Shouldn't there be more blood?
Very good question. Maybe the wound was covered by something. Bleeding into the clothing?
No, maybe you're not seeing this clearly, but there are some tiny spots on the table. I think it's blood too.
And that means...
I don't know exactly what kind of injury would cause something like this.
I'd guess he took it in the heart. Think about it, it makes the most sense.
Let's say that the victim was shot in the heart. The blood would spurt once or twice from the wound. That could be on the table, then the heart stopped beating.
So it would make the blood stop circulating and the bleeding would stop almost immediately.
Yes. If we could analyze that blood, we might be able to point out more accurately the place of the hit.
Don't you want to take this to pathology?
These things are well known. Non-oxygenated blood is dark. Oxygenated is light. That's how you know which ventricle it comes from. Let's sum up. We know the probable cause of death of one of the victims, hit in the heart.
But wounded by what?
Could have been a shot.
I didn't notice anything indicating a shooting, and there's nothing in the report. Diego?
I don't find it probable. If there was a shot to the heart, the chair elbow might be damaged too.
Not necessarily. If the culprit was shooting from an angle, the bullet could get caught by the vertebrae, spine. But I'd put the shooting aside for now.
So the murderer stabbed the victim in the heart. Why would he do that? To get some blood for painting? He'd have to have something to keep it in.
Of course he had. But if he wanted mainly the blood, he would more likely cut an artery. This seems rather ritualistic.
Ritual or not, what about those other two? Were they only onlookers? That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe they weren't actually conscious.
You're thinking about that gas from the report? Lara, did you get that?
John is talking about the gas, but he's wrong. The report clearly says that it's non-toxic, and so they couldn't have been poisoned by it, and it would have poisoned the suspect too.
Okay, was the FBI interested in something else besides that painting?
They want to know if the crime could have some religious motive.
So we should search through those photos and try to find evidence either supporting or controverting that hypothesis.
Let's have a look at it.